Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Went out hiking this weekend and the leaves are starting to change. It's beautiful. But I did have a lovely summer. So, welcome, everybody. So glad you're here. Excited to explore our session number 2 on emotional wellness. And this one, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the tools that we can use when we recognize a overwhelming sense of emotions within us. So last week we did explore what it really means and that it's not a negative thing. It's not good or bad, but recognizing how we're feeling is very important to supporting us in our health and working through potential challenges that we're having. So it's really important to be aware and have that awareness of what we're feeling and not numbing ourselves or ignoring it, but actually shining a beautiful spotlight on it. And tonight we're just going to kind of dive into some really simple tools that you can use anywhere at any time of the day to help you regulate your emotional wellness. And why this is so beneficial is when we're able to re-regulate what emotions are coming up, we are able to respond in a more healthy way, in a way that isn't necessarily going to create more problems for us. So we can really tap into what's going on. So before we begin, let's just do a really quick tiny little meditation together. You're just going to take some deep breaths. Place one hand on your heart. And if you like, you can close your eyes. And you're just going to breathe in and out really slow. Just in and out. Again, breathe in and out. One more time, big breath in and out. Then you can open your eyes and notice how you feel. Do you feel different than when you first started? It just took a few seconds and we were able to really relax our body just in a few breaths. So, this first part today is really to discuss what emotional regulation is. And the definition of emotional regulation isn't about controlling or suppressing our emotions. It's about having tools that help you stay steady when emotions come, whether that's stress, anger, sadness, or even excitement. Think of it like learning how to hold your balance on a wave or in the ocean instead of getting knocked over. One moment for me recently was at work. And I work in healthcare, and I had a provider come up to me, and there was some anxiety that I could feel. The things that they were saying was very triggering initially for me, and it was things that they needed addressed like emergently, and it wasn't like life or death emergent, but for them it was coming very strongly that this needed to be resolved now. And it was really interesting in that moment of them coming up to me and talking to me. I could feel this anxiety building up in my stomach and into my chest. And I wanted to defend my team. I wanted um, to ask more questions, more clarifying questions that could have been perceived as interrogating. But in my mind, I'm like, well, let me understand this more. And that's what the old Emily would have done. Like, let me kind of interrogate, let me figure out what I really need to do in this moment, because this doesn't seem like it's a big deal to me. And it was really interesting because we're talking 2 or 3 minutes of a conversation. It was so fast. And it just built up, built up, built up. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What do I need to do? And I took a moment really quick and I'm like, wow, I'm feeling really strong feelings of defensiveness, of justifying myself. And it just took a matter of milliseconds of being like, this has nothing to do with me. The energy that they were coming to me with was theirs. And it had nothing to do with me or my team or any of that. And it was such a quick experience. And it was so enlightening because this is real time. Normally, I would have to, my process would have been, oh my gosh, today at work this happened and I didn't feel good about it and I did this and did that, but I was able to really quickly, um, this has nothing to do with me. Is there anything I need to act upon? And there was some opportunities for my team, so I went and I talked to my team about it, but it was such a fast response that it's become like second nature to me, where I can listen and process what's happening versus get defensive or justify why it didn't happen the way that they thought it should have. So, learning to recognize that anxiety and that defensiveness right away helped me create less drama after. Recognize this had nothing to do, I didn't need to do anything or fix anything, and kind of open up my heart to what that provider was coming to me with, and have a safe space for them to be like, oh, they're overwhelmed, there must be a lot going on, to humanize them in a way of heart to heart versus they're creating more problems for me, is how I would have done that in the past. So, really, really great example to how this process of recognizing and not reacting right away has benefited my life. And I know, that was a professional experience, but I know it has in my personal. I know I react differently to my children, to my husband, to my siblings, my mom. Um, and it just really has been a blessing to be able to have that. Um, One of the best ways to re-regulate yourself or learn is breath work. And breath work has become, I think I've talked about this, I talk about it a lot. Breath work has become near and dear to me. It is such a powerful tool to help your body reconnect with itself and your mind to your body. It's just so powerful. And this summer, Aaron, my husband, and I were able to go to Sedona, and we participated in a 3 week shamangelic breathwork training, which we're going to be doing here at our home, and it is life changing. It is absolutely life changing. So if you're in the Utah area or Salt Lake area, it'd be great when we get that up and going. If you want to come try it and give it a shot. But this one, hopefully you've heard of it. there's so many different modalities for breath work, but it's box breathing. And it is a very fast tool. It's really easy for me to remember. So I do use this at work. I do use this with my team when they're coming to me with a lot of anxiety, or if they were just yelled at, or something kind of traumatic happened. I have done this, and it's not necessarily in a public space, but they can come to my office, or we can find a patient room that we can go into and do it. But it's really really easy. And we're just gonna do like 3 rounds together, and they call it box breathing because it's like you're gonna inhale for 4, and then you're gonna hold it for 4, and then you're gonna exhale for 4, and then you're gonna hold it for 4. And so you just think of yourself as a box, or your breath as a box. So we're just gonna kind of do that together really quick. So I'm not gonna talk during it. I'm just gonna do it with you. So in, and again, in, last time, in, that's it. That was 3. And the relaxation, the clarity, the giving your body oxygen, letting your brain stop thinking, just focusing on the breath is the power. And you can do that driving in a car. You don't have to do this part. You can do it anywhere, anywhere. People don't even need to know that you're doing it. If you try this, I would love for you to post what it did for you, if you felt anything, or if it was a difference after than before. Really, really powerful. So this next tool that we're going to discuss, and we've kind of talked about it um, in the past, is when we are having a feeling come up, it's really important to name it and to recognize what emotion is coming up. This was something that took me actually a long time. I actually had to Google a list of emotions. I'm actually going to add a list of emotions to this live because I was so disconnected from feeling. I didn't even know what I was feeling. And so it is very powerful. Even if you can't do it in the moment, when you have time later on in the day to recognize what it was and Google it or look it up, look up what you were feeling, and then connect that to the next time that you feel it. So when we name it, when we give it a name, the emotion, it actually reduces what you're feeling by almost 50%. The brain shifts from reacting to processing. So, that example at the beginning with the provider coming to me and me feeling anxiety, I've got anxiety, I'm defensive. Those were the 2 emotions that were coming up for me. Soon as I start thinking that way, I was able to really quickly calm down and recognize, with your cerebral cortex, the front part of your head, not your lizard brain, your limbic system, but to really recognize what was happening, and that had nothing to do with me. So in this moment, thinking about your day, just take a sentence and think or take a moment and think of a sentence regarding a feeling that you had. Um, for me, I felt overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed with a list of things that I had to do. And that can be very powerful. When I got home and recognized what it was happening with me, I was able to do a quick meditation. For me, that's very powerful, and bring bring my higher self online so that I was able to really connect with what I needed to do and not just the whole list. The next piece to this, the feeling, is where do you feel it in your body? Some people can feel it in their hips, they can feel it in their stomach or chest. And so connecting that feeling, for me, the overwhelmingness was in my stomach. I felt kind of like dread, like, oh, I've got so much to do in my stomach, the pit of my stomach. So doing those two things can really be powerful. Speaking it and where do you feel it? And this next tool is how are we talking to ourselves in the moment? And this is very, very powerful because what we say in here is going to directly affect our next actions. If we're saying, I shouldn't feel this way, or I can't believe I feel this way, or I can't believe I messed up, I can't believe I forgot that, to more of a, it actually makes sense that I feel this way. When that provider came up to me, it made sense initially why I felt the way that I did. Versus, I can't believe I'm feeling like this. Shame on me. I should know better. I should have been prepared. It shifts it from shame to compassion. And shame is a really low frequency of emotion, and compassion is a very high frequency. So it opens us up to be able to manage things later, the next moment later, much more better with the way that ourselves would want us to. So some things that you can practice saying are, you can put your hand on your heart and say, my emotions are valid. I am safe to feel. I meet myself with compassion. And just saying, I am safe to feel versus I can't believe I'm feeling this way. Such a difference in your body. Just such a difference. So powerful. So powerful. So we were able to talk about 3 different tools in helping us with our emotional wellness. Really simple. They're all free. Breathing, box breathing, very powerful. And that's just one modality for breath work. Naming your emotions. What are you feeling and where in your body are you feeling it? And then how we're talking to ourselves. And just the power that those 3 things can give to us daily if we implement them into our lives. So I really invite you tonight to journal. journal which one feels the most impactful to you, the most supportive to you, and how can you use it this week. And I would love to hear if you try it, any of them, and how did it go. Let us know. Let us know in our Facebook group how it made a difference, or if it didn't make a difference. Let us know if it was impactful, because this is how we're building a safe environment as women to really support each other as we heal this healing journey. So next week we're going to talk about building resilience and joy and wellness, emotional wellness, so it becomes a part of your daily life. So thank you all again for being here. I really look forward to this every Tuesday, and I'm excited to connect with each of you more on an individual level. I'd love to hear any messages or any comments, and eventually going to put out a poll to what you want to focus on next in this time together. So thank you all so much for being here, and it's beautiful to be with you on this beautiful journey. So take care.